Hey, it's the Empire, Geoboxing Empire, Baxter Boxing. Now, man, one of the biggest fights in boxing for the 130 division, man. Oscar Valdez versus Shakur Stevenson. Now, this is a really big fight going into the fight with Oscar Valdez and Shakur Stevenson. Oscar Valdez was going to this fight with a big win over Burchett. He stopped him, knocked him out cold, and, it was a left hook that stopped him, right? That being said, Oscar Valdez is looking like that guy because he wasn't known for that power and that boxing ability, but him knocking out Burchett had everyone buzzing about Oscar Valdez. Now, Shakur Stevenson beat Jamel Hilliard, and Shakur, he was looking like the next guy up, but a lot of people were still high on that Burchett win for Oscar Valdez. Not only that, Oscar Valdez was getting trained by Eddie Reynoso, and that's when he started really looking good in his career. Now, when the fight actually was announced, man, the truth really came out on who the powers that be thought was going to win this fight, and Shakur Stevenson was a massive overdog, and it played out the way the odds played out. Shakur Stevenson, when he fought Oscar Valdez, he was completely outboxing Oscar Valdez. He was moving around the ring. He was using his jab. He was hitting him with clean shots. And Oscar Valdez, he landed like one clean shot the whole fight. Real clean that actually caught Shakur Stevenson's attention. Maybe 2 or 3 shots. But for the most part, Shakur Stevenson controlled the outside of the fight. Oscar Valdez, he was trying to throw body shots in the inside. He didn't use a jab. And that was his game plan, just power shots with no jab. Just trying to block punches in all power shots. That being said, Oscar Valdez, it was too much inactivity in between, him flurrying to the body on Shakur Stevenson. And Shakur was able to basically paw his jab out to keep Valdez out on the outside and just throw a jab, hit him with the right hook, hit him to the body, hit him with the left uppercut. I mean, he basically can pick any shot and all shots, and he did on Oscar Valdez. Oscar Valdez even threw a wild shot. Shakur dodged the punch and then hit him with the right hook, and he even dropped Oscar Valdez in the fight. Oscar Valdez was just outclassed in this fight, man. He really didn't have much. He didn't really have much going on, man. He basically just had to run him down and throw a combination. It was no IQ to his boxing. It was just wild stuff. Black boxing, it's a Mexican style versus Black American style. And, at the highest level, it's not even close. Oscar Valdez, he thought he can do this, Mike Tyson type, style where he has this extreme power. Oscar Valdez hits hard, but he don't hit that hard. Let's keep it a buck, So with all that being said, man, Shakur Stevenson ended up getting the WBO and the WBC title. He became the unified 130 champion. And this is a really big deal because Oscar Valdez was undefeated. He was getting trained by Eddie Reynoso, Canelo Alvarez. He was getting trained by all of them, and they're backing him. Shakur Stevenson said multiple times that when I beat you, I'm beating Canelo Alvarez and Eddie Reynoso. I'm beating the whole team. Shakur was comparing himself to Floyd Mayweather, and he showed out on Oscar Valdez. Not only that, but before the fight ended, he did the Floyd Mayweather. He did the shuffle at the end of the fight and was, just not engaging in the last round. He was running around the ring and he started flexing on Oscar Valdez and just running around the ring because he knew he won the fight. There's no point in trying to finish strong for what you already won. You dominate the whole fight. So Oscar Valdez, man, he was defeated, and you could always tell the last seconds because Oscar Valdez, he basically stopped trying. When Shakur was moving around the ring, and then he started literally running. He took it like a little jog trip, and then Valdez just looked at him like, okay, you did it, you won. That's always the greatest feeling in boxing. Look at defeat, man. The guy said, I can't catch up to this guy. He's too superior. And that's exactly what happened, man. Even the commentators started laughing in the end when Shakur Stevenson started jogging around the ring and he started flexing. It was real fun stuff and real funny stuff. So Shakur, man, came with this came and really beat Valdez pretty bad. It was a wide decision. The scorecards came out, and most of the judges had 7 rounds or more for Shakur Stevenson. So this fight was a wide masterclass performance from Shakur Stevenson. Now Shakur, man, he was laying some real power shots on Oscar Valdez, and if he pit 4s and 5s together, instead of 3-punch combinations, if he just added 2 or 3 more punches on the end of it, I thought he could have stopped Valdez, man. Valdez was buckled a lot of times in this fight, man. There's times where Valdez will literally buckle and then he'll stop for 3 seconds. He would not move. And like I said earlier, Valdez was not throwing a jab. He was just throwing all power shots. So he'll literally just get hit with a full combination and then just pause. And Valdez would Shakur would look at him, Shakur, while he beat Valdez, there's some things he could have did better. I guess he wasn't good at reading the room. When Valdez was hurt, he didn't know when he was hurt. But on at least on TV, I guess it's easier when you're not in a situation. But he hurt Valdez so many times, and there's times in the fight where Shakur just wasn't respecting Valdez's power anymore, and he started walking him down. Shakur was so advanced in this fight, man. There's some things he was doing, like when Valdez was coming with these wild combinations, Shakur would just walk into him. That's one really good way to beat a so-called a guy trying to rush you. All you gotta do is walk into them, because they can't fight you so close. A lot of people think a lot of these fighters who rush you, they need distance for the power still. They want a guy standing still right in front of them. But Shakur would just walk into you, and that's what he was doing. When Valdez tried to really rush him, Shakur would just walk into the guy, and that was a really smart move for him. It smothered Oscar Valdez's work, and Valdez really couldn't land anything clean, and he was getting pushed back at the same time because Shakur walked into him, and it will basically, it's like trying to throw punches moving backwards, right? It's taking all the power and the steam away from his punches. You can't throw a punch properly if this guy's walking into you, right? You really can't turn a punch like you want to, because you're not throwing the punches with your hips and shifting your weight when a guy is walking you down and walking into you and pushing you back because he's walking into you, right? Shakur Stevenson showed a lot of advanced things in this fight. I can go on and on about all the advanced moves and just methods that Shakur beat Valdez, man, but I'll be here talking all night. But Shakur Stevenson definitely just threw the whole kitchen sink at Oscar Valdez. He was just, it was wild. When I was watching the fight, I was like, man, you know what? Shakur's beating this guy so bad, he went into Cuban mode, where he's just beating a guy, but he looks sort of like he's not trying all the way. There was never a time in that fight where like Shakur was stuck in second gear. He didn't really turn up on Oscar Valdez. He had like a flurry or two, but he was beating him so bad, he just looked like he was just doing it. It was funny, like in the 12th round, he was sitting in the corner and he started cracking up laughing and stuff, like, this is easy. Like, it was wild, man. I thought he could have finished the show if he wanted to. And this is a big fight, man. This is definitely that fight he could have finished the show in, because the guy Oscar Valdez was there to be hit, man. It was a real easy. It was just there. He was just there. He wasn't there to really do anything besides get hit. Wasn't throwing a jab. I mean, it was just easy work. Oscar Valdez was taller than him, had a longer reach than him. But yeah, man. I mean, Shakur, he still won the fight, but I thought he could have stopped Oscar Valdez. But Canelo Alvarez is pretty upset. Eddie Renenzo was upset. Believe it or not, Oscar Valdez being a massive underdog, the crowd was still pro Oscar Valdez. The people came to support, and Shakur still whooped that butt. He still smashed. So that all being said, the crowd was pretty upset after Shakur won. He was like, yeah, man, listen, I beat Canelo, I beat Eddie Renenzo, and the crowd's like, boo. He's like, yeah, man, with all due respect, man, I beat you guys, man. And then, like, you gotta do what you gotta talk your trash, man, because at the end of the day, that's what sells tickets, man. You gotta make it personal. You gotta, Eddie Renenzo, his camp, his trainer is seen like is his all-time great. But Oscar Valdez, he didn't show anything that would make Eddie Renenzo a good trainer. The guy he basically didn't have a game plan, man. He thought he could just bully his way, and he fell in love with his power from that Burchett fight. He thought he could just knock the guy out, and his power is so amazing. But it was no boxing going on, man. The guy just wasn't throwing any jabs. It was just all power shots to the body. And sorry about that, guys. Straight right and like a right hook. He was doing like lead straight rights and right hooks and like walking into his punch. So he'd be orthodox. He'll throw straight right and then be in a southpaw stance and throw like a right hook. It was real like no boxing going on. It was more like just trying to stop the guy, right? So with all that being said, man, Shakur got the dub, man. He got the W to become a unified 130 champion. I always said it once. I said it before. Gervonta Tank Davis, man, the guy really, I mean, he has so much money behind him, and he can make 130, man. He needs to go back down to 130 and fight Shakur Stevenson. That would be a real interesting fight. That's a good fight for Gervonta and Shakur. That's a 50-50 fight. That's a pay-per-view fight right there. That's what I'm really interested to see. Anyway, man, let me know how you guys feel about it, though. Like, comment, subscribe. This is the Empire. Geobasket Empire. Geobasket Empire.